I am making a updated deck profile for my Barian deck since I finally managed to get the rest of the cards I needed for it from Legendary Duelist Duels from the Depths. But I play around with it, and I really do think the new support is great for this deck since now summoning your Barian numbers or numbers above 100 is now incredibly easy with some new cards. Starting off with the monsters, I play 3 copies of Star Seraph Sovereignty. Star Seraph Sovereignty has the effect of if you use it to Xyz summon, it has to be for an Xyz monster that requires 3 or more materials. And then if you normal or special summon a Star Seraph, you can special summon this card from your hand, draw a card, and then you can summon a Star Seraph from your hand. The part I think is funny about this card, if I'm remembering it correctly, that is that this card is not once per turn. So if you see 2 of these, and you have one other Star Seraph, you can normal summon one, summon this special or draw a card, summon another Star Seraph off its effect, and then you can trigger the second one, do it again. Like I said, the only downside of this card is that it has to be for 3 or more materials. Then I play 3 copies of Star Seraph Scout. Scout has the effect of when it's normal summoned, you can special summon another Star Seraph from your hand. Then I play 3 copies of Star Seraph Sword. Star Seraph Sword's only in this deck as another level 4 light body that can be summoned off of things like Scout, Sovereignty. And if you need it, though, it has the effect of you can send a Star Seraph monster from your deck from your hand to the graveyard to have it gain that monster's attack. So it is decent to have your opponent summons a barrier statue and then makes it bigger than 1400 somehow. Or your opponent summons an inspector border and for some you can still use one effect. This can help you beat over things like that. Then I play 3 copies of Star Seraph Scale. Scale is one of the better monsters in this deck, having the effect of it's been a while since I last played Scale, so I have to read it real quick. It has the effect of when it's special summoned, you can summon another Star Seraph monster from your hand, and then you can take a light monster from your graveyard and place it on top of your deck. So Scale lets you set up for Sovereignty's effect, being able to draw and be certain you have a Star Seraph. And then if it was used as material for a monster that requires 3 or more Xyz monsters, that monster gets the effect of once per turn while it has materials. If a monster is special summoned from the hand, immediately draw 1 card. Woo. Then I play 3 copies of Star Seraph Sage. Sage has the effect of once per turn, or as I believe it's once per turn. Once per turn, you can send a spell card from your hand to the graveyard to then summon another Star Seraph from your hand. Which, really, that's what you would do with your cards like Barian's Chaos Draw or Rank Up Magic the 7th one that you just happen to have in your opening hand. Because those cards can only be activate if they are drawn for your normal draw phase. And to finish off the monsters, I play 3 copies of Star Seraph Scepter. Scepter has the effect of when it's normal summoned, you can search for a Star Seraph monster from your deck. And then if it's used as material for an Xyz summon, monster requires 3 or more materials. Then that Xyz monster gets the effect of when it's Xyz summoned, you can target one card on the field, destroy it, and if you do, draw a card. So Scepter is one I would say is another one of the probably better monsters. I'd say the 3 best are probably Scepter, Sovereignty, and Scale. But that is it for the monsters. So, starting off with the spells, I play 1 copy of Monster Reborn, just because sometimes you need to bring back a monster from the graveyard. one copy of Glorious Numbers. This is just a monster reborn for number monsters specifically that lets you draw a card. And then you can banish from your graveyard, target an Xyz monster that doesn't have any materials, and attach a card from your hand to it as material. Then I play 2 copies of 7th Ascension. I want to play 3, which if I can get my hands on a third one, I'll probably take out Monster Reborn. That has the effect of you can take 1 card from your deck, either a Barian Spell Trap, a Rank Up Magic Quick Play spell, or a 7th Spell Trap, and either add it to your hand or place it on top of your deck. If your opponent controls a monster special summon from the extra deck, you can banish this card from your graveyard and send a Rank Up Magic spell from your hand to the graveyard to have it become that spell's activated effect. So I really like this card because it can let you take a Rank Up Magic, the 7th one that's in your hand, send it to the graveyard, and then just activate the effect of 7th one. I do like these new support cards because they let you use Rank Up Magic, the 7th one, multiple times in a game, even though you can only actually activate Rank Up Magic, the 7th one, once per duel. Then I play 3 copies of Barian's Chaos Draw. Barian's Chaos Draw can only be activated when you draw it for turn, where you will draw it, reveal it during your draw phase, and then as long as it stays revealed in the main phase, you can activate it at any time. But once you activate, you can either send a 7th normal spell from your deck to the graveyard to then have it become that card's activated effect, or you can special summon up to 2 monsters from your deck, but negate their effects, and then immediately after the effect resolves, Xyz summon a monster. Then I play 3 copies of Rank Up Magic Barian's Force. This just lets you take a number monster you control, and then turn into a chaos number that's 1 rank higher that has the same number in its name. So example, you can target Silent Honor Arc, and then turn it into Silent Honor Dark. Then I play 3 copies of Rank Up Magic Quick Chaos. This is the exact same thing as Rank Up Magic Barian's Force, but a quick play spell. Then I play 3 copies of Rank Up Magic, the 7th one. The Rank Up Magic, the 7th one, activates the same as Barian's Chaos Draw, where you have to draw it for turn, reveal it in your hand, and then you can activate any time during your main phase. But this just lets you summon a number that has a number between 101 and 107. Summon it, and then summon a chaos number from your extra deck that has the same number in its name. You can only activate Rank Up Magic, the 7th one, once per duel. So having the Barian's Chaos Draw and 7th Ascensions to use that effect multiple times, I really think is a good thing. And then I did have 3 extra spots in the deck. I'm currently testing this out, but I'm playing 3 copies of Regeki. The original idea was to play 3 copies of Numbers Protection. It's a Solemn Judgment while you control a number monster that can reset itself but gets banished when it leaves the field. I was playing 3 of that, but then I thought about it and thought playing 3 Regeki would be better for going second, since this deck is kind of a go first or second deck. And then to finish off the deck, I play 3 copies of Number Wall. This just makes it so that neither player can destroy number monsters unless it's in battle with another number. And if a number monster leaves your field, then Number Wall is destroyed. I'm also testing out Number Wall because I've noticed not a lot of people are playing numbers, so this makes the monsters even harder to get rid of. Worst case scenario, I'll end up taking out Number Wall and Regeki altogether for things like Ash Blossom, Effect Veiler, Imperms, things like that. That is it for the main deck. Moving on to the extra deck. I play 1 copy of Silent Honor Arc, Star Seraph Sentry, Ragna Zero, Masquerade, Battle Unboxers Star Cestus, Giant Hand, and Tachyon Dragon. These are the numbers that are referred to as the Barian numbers, as they are numbers 101 through 107. And the original numbers only went up to number 100. But Silent Honor Arc has the effect of you can detach 2 materials, target 1 face-up attack position monster your opponent controls that was special summoned, attached to as material, and then Silent Honor Arc would be destroyed by battle or card effect. You can detach 1 material from it instead. Star Seraph Sentry has the effect of you can detach a material, target 1 monster your opponent controls, have its attack, and negate its effect until the end of the turn. And then Star Seraph Sentry will be destroyed by card effect. You can detach all of its materials instead. Ragna Zero has the quick effect of being able to target 1 monster on the field that had its attack point has different attack than its original. Destroy it, and if you do, draw a card. And then Masquerade's effect has the once per turn effect of you can just make your opponent send the top card of their deck to the graveyard. And then if your opponent activates a monster effect during the battle phase, quick effect, you can detach a material, negate that effect, and if you do, destroy that card. Battle Unboxer Star Cestus makes it so that during either player's battle step, you can detach a material, target 1 Battle Unboxer monster you control. It can't be destroyed by that battle, and your opponent takes any battle damage you would have taken instead. And then Giant Hand has the effect of when a monster effect is activated on your opponent's field, quick effect, you can detach 2 materials from it to then negate that monster's effect, and that monster's effects are negated as long as Giant Hand remains on the field. And then Tachyon Dragon is honestly probably my favorite of the Barian numbers. Being able to, at the start of the battle phase, it can use 1 material to then negate the effects of all other cards on the field, and their attack points are returned to normal. And if your opponent activates a card or effect during the battle phase, after its effect has resolved, then it gets 1,000 attack points per card used and the ability to attack a second time. Then I play 1 copy of Silent Honor Dark, Archfiend Seraph, Ragnafinity, Umbral Horror Masquerade, Battle Unboxer Comet Cestus, Giant Red Hand, and Neo Galaxy Ice Tachyon Dragon. Silent Honor Dark has the effect of if it is just once per turn, you target 1 special summon monster your opponent controls, attach it to it as material. And then if Silent Honor Dark is destroyed while it had materials and Silent Honor Arc is in the graveyard, including its initial destruction, the Silent Honor Dark can summon itself back from the graveyard, and you gain life points equal to its attack points. The only downside of using that effect, though, is that Silent Honor Dark cannot attack the turn that effect is used. And then Archfiend Seraph can use 1 overlay unit to then be able to target 1 monster your opponent controls, reduce attack to 0, and then its effects are negated. And then if its last overlay unit is used, then your opponent takes 1,500 points of damage. Also, if it would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can detach 2 materials from it instead. And then Ragnafinity has the effect of once per turn quick effect, you can target 1 monster on the field that has attack points different than its original, banish it, and then if you do, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the difference in its original attack. Or as I believe it banishes. You target 1 face of monster your opponent controls. If you do banish it, yep. And then if it's destroyed while it has materials, and Ragnafinity is in the Ragna Zero is in the graveyard, Ragnafinity summons itself back from the graveyard. And then Umbral Horror Masquerade is probably the one of the best of the Chaos Barian numbers. But it can't. When it's special summoned, you can target one spell or trap on the card your opponent controls, destroy it, and then if your opponent activates a monster effect, then you can detach one material, negate that effect, destroy that monster, discard a random card out of your opponent's hand, and then you have your opponent's life points. All because they use a single monster effect. And then Battle Unboxer Comet Cestus has the effect of once per turn, you can destroy one monster your opponent controls, and if you do, your opponent takes damage equal to that monster. There's attack points, but it has to have Battle Unboxer star sets as a material to use that effect. And then it also has the effect of if it destroys an opponent's monster by battle, your opponent takes damage equal to that monster's original attack points. Giant Red Hand just needs a number monster as material to be able to use its effect. But its effect is once per turn, quick effect. If your opponent activates a card or effect, then you detach the material from it as a mandatory effect to then negate the effects of all other cards on the field, and those effects stay negated until, as long as Giant Red Hand is on the field. And then Neo Galaxy Guy's Tachyon Dragon has the effect of you can detach a material to then negate the effects of all cards on your opponent's side of the field and in their hand. They cannot activate cards or effects for that turn. And all the monsters your opponent controls have their attack points returned to their original. And as long as Tachyon Dragon is material, then Tachyon Dragon contribute 2 monsters to declare 3 attacks on monsters that turn. And then to finish off the Barian monsters, I then also play 1 copy of Chaos XZ's Barian Hope. Barian Hope has the effect of it gains 1,000 attack for every material it has. And then once per turn, you can target 1 Barian Chaos number, and you're either attached to it as material or in the graveyard. Have it copy that monster's name and effects. So you can just have it copy the effects of Silent Honor Dark, take an opponent's monster, have it gain 1,000 additional attack points. But I feel like there's one other effect I've been forgetting about. Okay, now this is just able to be any of the 7 Barian numbers, and if you use that effect, it lasts until the end of your opponent's next turn. But that is it for my Barian deck profile. If you have any ideas of what I can do to improve the deck, any ideas of decks like to see me make, or decks like to see fight each other, feel free to comment those down below. Thanks for watching.